On today's episode, we're sitting down with Worshipful Brother Les Goff, President of the York District Wardens Association.
You're listening to The First Three Knocks, a Masonic podcast in the District of York, where we discuss topics for the betterment of Masonry. The opinions discussed in this podcast are those of the individual and do not represent the views of Grand Lodge or any other Masonic body. Now, here are your hosts.
Good afternoon, brethren.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
We're sitting down with Worshipful Brother Les Goff. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you here with us this afternoon at the annual communication of Grand Lodge.
Here.
We tracked you down in the lobby, so we were able to drag him into our podcast booth.
It was more like a tackle.
Yeah.
It was.
I think, Brother Sprott, you got that door locked. So
Yep.
we're in good shape. Very, very happy that you've agreed to sit down with us. Obviously, as the president of the Wardens Association, there's a lot of work going on there. And for our listeners, I'd like to clarify, Brother Goff is past master of the Rising Sun Lodge, a mentor and a friend. He's also, as I said, leading the Wardens Association of York District. And in addition to that, you got a few other things on the go. You're the member of the Scottish Rite, York Rite, and Shrine.
Yes.
So you're a busy guy.
Always got something to do. Always have something to do. Yes.
Well, welcome to the First Three Knocks. We appreciate you coming on the show,
Thank you.
sharing some of your Masonic insight with us today.
Yeah. Neglected to add that I'm also one of the caretakers of the Rising Sun Lodge and
Temple Board.
Temple Corporation, and secretary treasurer of that as well.
So you really have nothing going on.
Not at all. Not at all. I do not have a social life.
Well, that is a boatload of stuff. So what we like to do when we sit down with guests is just talk about a little bit of your Masonic story. You know, how did you end up becoming a Mason?
Well, actually, I knew some of the same people that are in the lodge now, more mutual friends. Working with the police service, I know quite a few guys that are in Masonry. And so, I began my journey in April 2002.
Oh.
Was when I was first initiated. And it went from there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
What who would you say has kind of influenced your Masonic career? I mean, you've been around a lot of great Masons and learned a lot.
Actually, I can't say there's any one in particular. It was just a number of people that I was unaware of were Masons until I mentioned that I was interested in becoming a Mason. So there was a good handful of guys that at work and away from work that just seemed to be more of a better person.
Oh.
So
You saw that.
I could see that, yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until after I joined Masonry that my mother advised me that she had two uncles that were Masons in Liverpool, England. And up till then, I thought I was the only member of the family that was a Mason. Yes. But my dad knew quite a bit about Masonry. He knew some Masons, and he filled me in a little bit, even though he's not one himself. He knew quite a bit, and kind of said, "Go for it. You won't have any regrets," and I haven't. So.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
What are your fondest memories of your long Masonic career?
I think my initiation was probably an ultimate. That was because I just moved into a newly developed subdivision. I was picked up by very worshipful Brother Bruce Bellows now in what was probably the cleanest I've ever seen one of his vehicles. But once we got out of the subdivision that was not paved in April, it was not clean. I did arrive with dirt on the back of my pants from the rocker panels. I also, at that time, had my wrist in a cast, and I was led by my guide, who had a hold of my broken wrist quite firmly throughout the lodge. And I remember the odd sharpness of pain as I got led around. But so I think my initiation, more than anything, it strongly sticks out. And also getting installed as master, that was an absolutely fantastic night, and it was really, really enjoyable to have so many people there, and just once you get put into that chair in the East, and it's a totally different view of the lodge.
Yeah.
And it was that was very, very cool. I really enjoyed that.
I remember when I was installed, you gave me some very direct advice on that exact topic. You'll never see anything like it.
Yeah.
It's just totally different.
It's
man,
very
did you
unique
deliver
feeling.
on that advice?
Yeah.
That was, it was spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Yeah.
In those years since you've been a Mason, you've seen some changes in Masonry. What sticks out for you?
I think that more than anything, it's the memberships are dwindling. As far as back when I joined in 2002, a lot of the older members were still very active, and now they're no longer in a position to be active. So they're starting to fall away, but they still make it out every once in a while, and we still go visit them every once in a while. But the younger members coming in, I think everybody right now very much more busy as far as family commitments, and I think it's much tougher for younger people to get out on a more regular basis and take on a little bit of the requirements of being a member of a lodge, simply because you've got children, you've got families, I work shift work, which makes it very difficult, and anybody else who's young and involved, we've got teenagers in sports, what have you, and their wives are working, and it's really being at home is much more family involved than it used to be back when it was typically just the man was working,
Right.
and the wife stayed home and looked after the children. If you're in that position, that's fantastic, but I think that's just the nature of the game right now. So the more members you have in order to spread the wealth of the work that needs to be done, if everybody just took a little piece rather than taking a huge chunk, that would really help. So.
Yeah, I mean, I have the good fortune of being with you in Lodge, and you've been a great mentor to me and all the brethren of the Rising Sun and
Appreciate
beyond,
that.
and
Yeah.
beyond.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I certainly notice is you lead by example. You take on the work and you get it done, and I think it inspires others to jump in and go as well. So
I'm one of the best junior warden lecture guys who can give it on a drop of a dime right here, sitting with us here. So
yeah,
I'm trying to catch.
He's very
you,
omnipotent.
Yes, I'll never mispronounce that word again, that's for sure.
So, changing gears a little bit, you've been involved with the Wardens Association for the last couple of years, also leading the Wardens Association this past year. Maybe tell us a little bit about some of the work in the district.
Sure. Well, I actually joined the Wardens Association as a deacon, and I've been active in the Wardens Association. At the district meetings, we have the barbecues and that. I've flipped a lot of burgers and that kind of thing. You help out as much as you can, but again, participation and volunteering to participate is again taking its toll, and people have to step up a little bit more. So as a past master, I am now the president of the Wardens Association. Last year, again as a past master, I was vice president. But even when I was a master, I was still involved with the Wardens Association and flipping burgers and chicken and that kind of thing. But yeah, so it's just a matter of everybody trying to do as much as you can, and whether you're coming out on a regular basis, or if you just want to help pick up the garbage at a meeting, that's fine too. Do a little cleanup, that's great, but everybody does need to participate to the best of their ability. And again, if you're able to make a meeting, great. If you're not, no harm, no foul. And but this year we're taking on a more educational purpose as opposed to just having regular meetings and that kind of thing. So Bert, yourself, you did a very excellent presentation at our first meeting this year on the goals required to get into that master's chair, you being a master this year, and the vice president of the Wardens Association. We're able to pass that knowledge on. So I think it's a valuable tool as far as having a master or a past master as the president and vice president of the Wardens Association. But typically, Wardens Association is Wardens.
Right.
And it's been reduced from a Wardens Association and to now we've got Inner Guard, we've got
Right.
Deacons, just to increase the membership, get everybody out there. But I think what we're finding from that aspect is people are taking a general interest in realizing that as a deacon, you've only got a few more years before you're in the master's chair. Time goes really fast.
Absolutely.
And certainly as a warden, you know, as a junior warden, you got your 2 years out, senior warden, your 1 year out. You got to have your ducks in a row and understand what's going to happen as that master. And I think even in the lodge level, a lot of the mentorship has not been there. But now I think a lot of people are realizing that, and you just try to, like you say, lead by example. When you're attending a general purpose meeting, put in your 2 cents and explain things rather than say this is how it is. You need to explain why it is the way it is.
Right.
So
And how often do you guys meet throughout the year?
we have 3 regular meetings, but again, this year we've tried to have a few more educational meetings, and here we are at Grand Lodge, so we're actually waiting to see the results of the elections for this year in order to put together our next educational process, because we need to find out who's going to be the next district deputy grand master and who he's going to have as the chair of education. And then that's both the district deputy grand master and the chair will be invited to our meetings and to, I don't want to call them meetings, but more educational get-togethers, so to speak. So we've seen a lot of interest this year from the newer members coming in, plus some of the older members who are realizing that the best thing to do now is we really got to educate everybody as far as what's next.
Yeah.
And when you leave a chair, you should be mentoring the guy that's taking your chair.
Well, again, it's nice to see that it's been opened up to inner guards and deacons, because that's where I'm sitting right now as senior deacon, and it was my first year of joining myself. The first one was the session that worshipful brother Bert put on, and then the second one was the whole Masonic education piece, which was really valuable. And I think that one was very well attended. We felt a lot of people got really good value, and we could hear the buzz when they went back to their own lodges to talk about what they had just experienced and everything like that. So I think that was what was next. Everybody's waiting on, when are we doing more of that hands-on learning? Like you said, there's not a lot of, and I can't speak for every lodge, but not a lot of great mentor programs that we know of within the district that lodges share space and use. So it's a perfect avenue to have that through the Wardens Association. So fantastic.
And it's a chance for everybody in different lodges to meet each other.
Absolutely.
Because the perfect thing eventually is if you're sitting in a chair and you're unable to make a meeting one night, it is your responsibility to get your replacement. It is not the master's responsibility to get a replacement.
Right.
It's your responsibility to get a replacement. So if you're interacting with other members of other lodges who are at the same level as you, then you can just simply, what are you doing tonight?
Network.
That's your network. Can you fill in for me tonight? And vice versa. I don't know how many times I've filled in, especially on the junior warden seat.
Seems to be a popular one.
Yeah, apparently word gets out when you're good at the lecture. But it's and that's the whole idea is networking.
Well, that's a fantastic point, again, because it's not just, we talked this year about all the fun we had with Traveling Gavel, but it's the Wardens Association, the foundation that you start there and you build relationships with, that you don't just want to go to official visits and installations because of, these fun little competitions that we have on the side. It's because I've been working side by side with my brother from another lodge. We're all still equal and the same, and I want to see his success and support him and be there for them. So it's a fantastic organization, and it's a fantastic group to be a part of within the organization. So I'm happy to be a part of it, it, and again, we promote it all the time now, and doing a fantastic job, and we're seeing a lot more people more interested, and with especially the last couple of sessions that we've had, it's been, I think, again, very educational and tremendous.
That's
awesome.
That's excellent to hear. But one of the things that was really enjoyable for me as going into the master's chair was to have members of the Wardens Association that I had traveled with during that time do pieces of work, and vice versa. I actually got to deliver pieces of work during their installations, and it's very cool when you're sitting. I shouldn't say sitting, standing, looking at the master who's being installed and delivering that piece of work for him, and knowing that individual has really appreciated you being there.
It means more. It really truly comes from within and the heart. So it's again, absolutely fantastic.
I've enjoyed it. I remain friends with lots of guys that are in the Wardens Association. It's not always Masonic. We're out for beer and wings every once in a while, and that kind of thing, just because that's the kind of connection you made with individuals. And so there's a lot of great aspects to
beyond our own lodge doors and walls. It's through the district and beyond. So again, it really does give you a solid foundation to create that network and solidify those relationships with everybody. So
exactly right. Yeah.
If you're not in there, I suggest you go find out what it's about. I'm sure you would allow a couple guests in the beginning to kind of get a teaser, but more importantly, you know what? When you're ready, when you're willing, come out, check it out, and it's awesome.
Yeah, you don't have to be a member to actually come out to the educational nights that we have. Just come on out, and if you want to join the actual association and receive our emails on a regular basis, then by all means.
And that's a great point. No pressure, guys. You know, we can get out there, see what it's about, see if you like it, see who's there to journey with you, and then by the end of the night, I can almost guarantee that you'll be sold and want to be a part of another great facet of Masonry.
Exactly. It is. Masonry is a wonderful thing. Yeah, it really is. Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
For those Masons who may not know the Wardens Association that well, or only been involved with their lodge, what would be the best way to describe it to them? You know, what would be the benefit to participate in the Wardens Association? How would you?
Well, the biggest benefit is networking.
Yeah.
And that is your biggest benefit. Like I said, if you're holding a master or holding an officer's chair in the lodge and you're not able to make it, to be able to know who you can call to fill in your spot for that particular night, and vice versa. If somebody gives you a call, you can go to their lodge and take that spot for that night. Because when you go, everybody knows that you know what you're doing. Yeah. So it's not like you have to pull from a past master, hey, can you sit in my
get up
my
to speed
deacon's
again?
Chair tonight? And so it's really good in that respect. And then again, you're working with guys that are in the same position as you, working towards the same goal as you, and you help each other along. So, and right now what we've done is open it up to more education towards whatever seat. We've got some brochures that we've passed out that have been distributed by Grand Lodge. We're getting that out because a lot of people just aren't receiving stuff that they do need. Again, that getting that information out there, and the books that we've got, the working the mechanics for the officers. That's vital. You got to have that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I had the opportunity yesterday to attend a couple of seminars here at Annual Communication, and Right Worshipful Brother Art DeCecco put on a seminar on leadership, primarily on officer progression. And I was telling these gentlemen, what he did is simply put up each role of the officers and went through each of the books that are associated to the role. So whether it's the Book of Constitution, Book of the Work, or Mechanics of the Work, and laid out all the elements of that role.
Yeah.
Really nice tool that is great to provide to the members of certainly the Wardens Association and beyond.
That was one of the handouts that I created too for the Wardens Association, and handed that out. And again, if you want to listen to anybody, Art DeCecco would be a guy to listen to. He's very knowledgeable and knows what he's doing. But that's simply all it is putting the tools in the hands of the worker. All right. And,
Well said.
Yeah.
Very well said. And changing gears a little bit, so of course here at the Grand Lodge annual communication, your impressions, your thoughts on Grand Lodge?
Well, Grand Lodge is a great foundation for everybody else to build on. So I guess we're more like the small country church, and Grand Lodge is the cathedral. So
Very well said. Yeah, we had the opportunity to attend this morning and saw the pomp and ceremony, of course, with that, and it was impressive.
Yeah,
it really
absolutely.
was. These guys know what they're doing.
I think what a lot of people need to realize is the importance of the ceremony, and not just doing the ceremony, but understanding why we do the ceremony. And if that's not a piece of your education, then that's a piece of brick that's going to fall away later on, and you'll be left with a hole in your wall. It's very, very important to understand why we do things a certain way, and that needs to be educated as well.
Very well said.
Even more value coming from the Wardens Association president. I wouldn't have even thought that way as far as, the benefits you get, but that's a fantastic point to share with our audience.
Yeah.
Maybe some of your experience you could share with our listeners in terms of newer Masons. Any advice for newer Masons who've just joined?
And got to, on an individual basis. Let's make sure they don't cross their feet in lodge. Don't be slouching. It's
See a lot of that.
you see a lot of it. And
I'm sitting up right now.
So it's just, you don't nitpick, but you just explain to people the importance of acting and positioning a certain way. And we don't chew gum in lodge, and nothing irks me more than seeing a cell phone in lodge. It absolutely irks me. When I see somebody pull out a cell phone and either sit it on the floor, I've seen wardens and masters put it on their pedestal. Put that thing away. You are in lodge, just leave it alone. You're not leaving, so why check your message?
Yeah.
Right? So there's nothing irks me more than seeing a cell phone in lodge when that door is tiled.
Well, it's true. It's important. Once that door is tiled, you put your books down, your books away.
Yeah.
All distractions
Yeah.
are to be left outside.
Yeah.
Right?
The number of times a cell phone goes off while you're doing a degree, I've actually seen guys answer the cell phone.
Jeez.
I remember being involved in a third degree at one of our lodges, and we're still in darkness visible, and over in the corner,
The
I
light's
can
going
see
off.
a light.
Oh,
Just,
jeez.
are you kidding me? Put it away.
I remember
Yeah.
on my night of getting my second degree, I had my phone on vibrate. It was in my pocket.
I remember that night.
And I'm on, you were the master sitting
I was
for me.
master, yeah.
And my mom calls while I'm
Receiving your degree.
I'm actually giving the obligation to prove myself, and I hear bzz, bzz. Now again, it was on vibrate, fair enough, but I
I'm
was
okay
like,
with that.
jeez.
Evidently, the master picked it up, though.
Yeah.
I should have said, wait, sir, will you answer this?
Gino Scovio, minus 10 points.
But I certainly agree to that statement.
Yeah.
Again, keep all distractions outside.
Yeah.
It's for me, anyways. The experience I get when I go in a closed lodge, a nice tiled room, is it's harmony. It's a little bit of quiet time for me to reflect.
Mm-hmm.
It's giving my full commitment to the brethren in ritual or whatever, and I would expect and hope that others do the same.
Exactly.
It's a courteous.
We're not there just for ourselves. We're there to aid the brethren.
Absolutely.
So if you're a distraction, everybody's distracted.
Exactly. But leading by good example is what we're founded on, right?
That's it.
A good man being a better man. So
Yep.
you can wait the 5-10 minutes.
You can.
Yep.
You can. And it'd be surprising how many times you check your phone at the end of the night and
Yeah.
nobody called you.
Exactly.
So why do you need it on you, right? So,
Worshipful Brother Goff, with your experience in multiple organizations, obviously leading the Wardens Association, past master, and these other organizations, how do you see the future of Freemasonry?
I think it's going to improve, and I do believe it's going to increase. It's just a matter of getting people to leave their cell phones alone.
And not cross our legs.
And not cross our legs. So, yeah, I think it's going back on track. But I think our newer members coming in are certainly much older than the newer members in the past that were coming in. So you had to be 21, and we did have a lot of members coming in at 21. You look at some of the guys that have got 60-year pins, 70-year pins.
Yeah, we were talking about that
They
earlier.
must have come in when they were 21, because there's no chance you're going to get a 60-year pin if you didn't come in at 21. But nowadays, most of our people are coming in probably in their 30s. It's not very often you get one coming in who's in their 20s. Very nice to see when you do. We've got a couple at Rising Sun. They are actually wonderful additions to our lodge. And the same with some of the newer guys who are already in their 30s coming in. And I think our most recent, definitely in his 50s, just had a wonderful night at our steak and lobster there on Saturday. And I think it's just a matter of them not being aware of what it's all about. And again, being in a position where you're a past master, you got to realize that if you're not in lodge, it's all about having fun.
Yeah.
And it's all about guiding.
Yep.
But when you're in lodge, there's a time when you need to set the stage and get things rolling. And then there's a time when you can be more relaxed. And if you're the older generation that's going out the door now seem to be a bit more firm than than younger people are used to, which is okay. You can be firm and fair.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
I like to stick to tradition, but that said, we have a lot of fantastic tradition to follow.
absolutely.
And again, it's been fantastic. I enjoy thoroughly a lot of the social time we have with the brethren from the Rising Sun and beyond. I mean, we do a lot of, we do golf tournaments, a couple of them throughout the year. We do our own golfing.
Yeah.
We go for some beers and wings every once in a while. We had a Toronto Maple Leaf versus the Habs one night where we had to, again, it's not just the lodge and getting to work and being serious all the time. It's about the inclusivity of each other socially,
Families.
and bringing our families in and our significant others and our kids, and having them see through demonstration what we're all about.
Exactly.
And again, it was really nice this past weekend when we had our steak and lobster night. My wife doesn't get to attend a lot of things, and my little one the same, but they thoroughly enjoyed themselves as well. So
it was a fun night.
What it was all about,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know. Is there any closing remarks that you would like to give before we wrap it up? We're going to try to maybe hit the hospitality suite one last time before last call. Speaking of social time.
Well, whenever I coach a rookie, I always tell them three things. Number one, pay attention. And number two, if you went home at the end of the day and didn't learn anything, you weren't paying attention. And number three, the only dumb question was the one that wasn't asked.
Absolutely.
So if you're unsure of anything, or you've got a question about anything, you can ask anybody. And if they don't have the answer, they should be able to direct you to the person that does have the answer. But I've had some amazing questions asked of me in the past, very simple things on occasion, where you're like, wow, didn't even think that you would not know that.
Yeah.
But you don't treat it in a way that you make them feel belittled for asking that question. You explain it to them.
Absolutely.
So, one of the first questions I think I was asked was, what is just, perfect, and regular? That's a very interesting question.
Yeah.
Can you answer it without me telling you what it is?
No. I'm about to ask that same question. What is it?
What is perfect and regular? Okay, you're in a lodge, just, perfect, and regular. So, what is a perfect lodge?
7 or more.
And what is a regular?
Regularly meet.
Exactly. Just answered your own question.
There we go.
Brilliant.
But great question.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great insight.
Yeah.
Great
That's it.
insight.
The only question, and the only dumb question is the one that was not asked.
Yeah.
That goes with everything. Absolutely.
Good. Well, Worshipful Brother Goff, thank you for joining us today and sharing your insights on the Wardens Association, your Masonic career, and some of the great work that's going on there. So we much appreciate it.
I appreciate you asking me, and thank you very much. And my nervousness is no longer, so we're good.
We don't bite. Told you.
On that note, let's end off and head over to the hospitality suite, shall we? And enjoy.
Yeah. Cheers.
Sounds good.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of The First Three Knocks. Happy to meet, sorry to part, happy to meet again.